News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
NPP flag bearer hopeful Dr. Konadu Apreku given a scare after initial rejection of his nomination forms as deadline nears.
Also tonight, Minerals Commission CEO Martin Ayisi denies Lands Ministry sabotage claims and community mining projects.
President Akufo-Addo criticizes credit rating agencies for reckless downgrades, causing Ghana's liquidity crisis to escalate into insolvency crises.
In business news, Afri-Exim Bank projects to more than triple its total assets and guarantee to $100 billion in the next 10 years.
Later on the international front, submersible craft used to take people to see the wreck of the Titanic goes missing in the Atlantic Ocean with its crew on board, sparking major search and rescue operation. You have details of all these stories and more. Do be part of the show. We'll be happy to hear what you think about the stories. Details now.
Yes, and to the details where the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Martin Kweku Ayisi, has debunked claims that the Lands Ministry deliberately sabotaged the community mining project initiative prior to its launch. He was responding to claims made against the Commission in a leaked report on Galamsey. Judith Awachitando has more.
A 32-page report was not void of accusations involving the Minerals Commission. Now, according to the report, the Commission was in support of the Lands Ministry, which it claims was hostile and antagonistic to the community mining program, which was in the process of being launched by the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Now, the report further claimed that the Commission was angry at the IMCIM for being at the forefront of matters concerning small-scale mining, which is originally a function of the Minerals Commission. Now, it claimed that the Minerals Commission, along with the Lands Ministry, as a result, sabotaged and blocked several community mining sites which the IMCIM had planned and were ready to commission. The report further accused the chairman of the Minerals Commission of threatening the MCE of Asante Akim Central to block the commissioning of sites a day before the event or risk losing her job. But the Minerals Commission, in a rebuttal, is debunking the claims made in the report. According to the Commission, authorization was not secured before launching and implementing the community mining schemes.
How will you launch community mining in a vacuum? Every mineral operation or activity in Ghana has to be grounded in law. You have to have some approval authorization to carry that. He was not doing that, and they're going around launching that.
He bemoaned that the IMCIM was just taking the large-scale miners' concession and launching community mining without recourse to the Minerals Commission, which, according to him, was unlawful.
In his report, he said he had a pushback from the board of the Minerals Commission to Professor, Dr. S.K. Bafo. This is one of the causes. The man said, you can't do that. We are a nation of laws. We are a nation of laws. So if you go and have a meeting at Interministerial and you recognize that, we need to give more licenses to small-scale mining, you just come to the Minerals Commission, we find the area. So, for example, the very place the program was officially launched by the president, we were informed midnight before. It was launched on a concession of a large-scale Golden Star. They called us. We said, no, you cannot say anything. This is a state program. You cannot embarrass us. If he had recourse to us, that would not have happened.
Judith Awachitando, TV3 News.
And as you know by now, the NPP is gearing up to elect its flag bearer. As it stands, 10 different aspirants have picked nomination forms. And by the 26th of August, they will be cutting down to 5, the last 5 to go into the race, and they will get to know who the top one will be. But we have some more stories.
Exactly, and with 5 days to file nomination forms for the NPP flag bearer contest, high stakes may have led to omission of required documents, causing one flag bearer hopeful to be fended off. Dr. Apreku, however, after several hours, returned and successfully filed his nominations after the initial setback. Noble Crosby Annan has more endless reports.
It all began when three-time flag bearer hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Kofi Konadu Apreku, could not submit his nomination forms at the party's headquarters. The Economist, who was the first person to arrive at the headquarters in an attempt to submit his nomination forms, was turned away by the party because, according to them, he did not present a full package of the requirements.
When forms are submitted by prospective candidates, it is for us to look at them and make sure that all fields are done, make sure that all attachments are included. And so when Dr. Apreku came, there was discussions, and so he has had to go back and come again to submit full documents to complete the filing process. And so it must not be carried out there that the party has rejected his nomination forms.
While the team waited, Dr. Friakoto arrived. Upon inspection and successful process, the former Greek minister, just like all other aspirants who submitted their nomination forms, was handed a copy of the party's constitution with a call to embark on a clean campaign. Dr. Akoto, speaking after submitting the forms and reiterating his quest to revamp the economy through agriculture, took a jab at the vice president, accusing him of busing supporters to the party's headquarters to submit his nomination forms.
Say here that everybody who has come here, including representatives of farmers, are here on their own accord. You can't see any bus or any big commercial vehicle bringing in people to come and support. People have come on their own volition and of their very tight conviction. The same way I was able to bring agriculture to the front line of policy discussion, it will be the same way that agriculture will be used to take us out of the clutches of the IMF.
Then came the former energy minister, who is contesting to leave the party for the second time. As he submitted his forms, he bemoaned the seeming lack of a level playing field.
I can hold myself as having stayed true to the rules and regulations that govern our electoral processes from the beginning, from polling station all the way to the presidential. All must hold true to the rules and regulations without sounding like a fly in the jar. There's been many provocations. There have been many breaking of rules for which no sanctions have been applied. And I've had cause, even at National Council, to raise the matter. So long as the rules are clear, so long as there is total fairness, so long as we are all tempered and measured in our statements, I believe that we will have a very peaceful country.
Just before the close of day at the party's headquarters, and after over 6 hours, Dr. Konadu Apreku and his team returned to the party's headquarters, having updated his nomination forms. He switched to a full-blown campaign, trumpeting his contributions to the party, promising reforms in the future Apreku government and changes in the constitution.
After 8 years that I would have left office, we will have competitive election in selecting regional ministers, competitive election in these, and also to scale down the size of government, diversify our exports, and many others.
When asked about what may have gone wrong earlier with regards to his nomination forms, he explained it was nothing major.
There was no problem. There was a document that we did not receive that required us to send include in our document our vision. And it wasn't, we did not know about it. We didn't ignore it, but we just did not know. So we did not bring the document, and they asked us to go and bring it. We brought it, and everything is okay.
Well, as it stands, 5 down, 6 to go in this very heated contest of the NPP. Noble Crosby-Annan, NPP headquarters, Accra.
Let's now speak to Musa Dankwa. He is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. Thank you so much for your time. Now, 3 more persons have submitted their nomination forms today. Although various polls do not make mention of them, how significant is their support base? Hello, Mr. Dankwa.
Hello.
Yes, I was asking how significant is the support base of the 3 people who have filed their nomination forms today?
Thank you very much for having me this evening. Look, the support base for these 3 people is basically below 0.5%. This is going to be a 3-horse race for the MPP. And we expect Honorable Kennedy Japan, Honorable Alan Chiremachin, and His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to be the front runners for this race. Everybody else is just not really showing up in the polls.
Are they wasting their time?
Not necessarily. Maybe they want to market themselves to Ghanaians. They want to show that they are there. But as to whether they will make impact in the race, I sincerely don't believe so.
We've seen on countless occasions aspirants backing down from the race and throwing their support to other candidates. If that happens to these 3 persons, what will that add to recipients of the support?
Absolutely nothing. The polls that we conducted recently among MPP delegates showed that the remaining 7 contestants vying for the position altogether, or between them, only made it to less than 1%. And I can see 1% can do to a race that is looking at a 3-horse race between the front runners.
You've mentioned 3 of the 5 candidates. Who will likely make the final 2?
The final 2, no, the final 2, that would be difficult for me to tell because it is not a group of people that you can really poll and go. But if you use the delegate poll that we did, maybe Afria Koto will make it, and probably Joe Gatti.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. And Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Let's shift our attention to some other stories now. And President Akufo-Addo has criticized credit rating agencies for reckless downgrades, causing Ghana's liquidity crisis to escalate into a solvency crisis. Speaking at the opening of the 30th Afrexim annual meeting in Accra, the president noted that only strong financial African institutions can develop the continent.
According to the International Monetary Fund, Ghana's economy is beginning to show signs of stabilization after last year's difficulties. With almost a quarterly update on the country's economic outlook, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, as well as Fitch, declared Ghana's credit ratings abysmal. A development President Akufo-Addo believes worsened the already bad situation. This, however, is not the first time the president or his government is taking exception to the forecasts by rating agencies. The president, during the 35th AU Summit, called out the rating agencies. Subsequent downgrades from S&P, Fitch and Moody's again meant the president took them on during the UN General Assembly's meeting in September last year.
US dollars. It has become clear, if ever there was any doubt, that the international financial structure is skewed significantly against developing and emerging economies like Ghana. The avenues that are open to powerful nations to enable them to take measures that would ease pressures on their economies are closed to small nations. To make matters worse, credit rating agencies have been quick to downgrade economies in Africa, making it harder to service our debts.
The tide may be up now, but for Ghana's president, reckless downgrades only means Africa must develop strong financial institutions.
So is it a farmer blaming his tools, or really the president has a cause for concern about these rating agencies who have consistently downgraded Ghana's economic performance? We'll have that conversation later. But away from that, the head of Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Professor Alidu Seidu, says the Electoral Commission can be taken on if it insists to go ahead to use the Ghana card as the sole document for voter registration. She spoke to Evelyn Tingma.
The Commission in February 2023 introduced a constitutional instrument which, among others, will make the Ghana card the sole document to register persons onto the electoral roll for the 2024 elections. But on March 31, Parliament directed the election management body to include the guarantor system and open more registration centres. The House, particularly the minority, still stands by its position.
If for any reason they think that that is not the views of the EC and they want to still bring it back, it doesn't mean what they will be bringing to Parliament will be accepted by us. Our position is clear on this matter.
But on Thursday, June 15, Director of Elections, Dr. Sribo Kwaku, at an event organized by the University of Ghana Political Science Department, continues to justify its push to use the Ghana card as the sole document for the voters' register. But what does this mean to the country's democracy?
If they refuse to accept the recommendations that's made by Parliament, then Parliament may also refuse to accept it to be laid before Parliament. And once it's not laid before Parliament for the number of time that's needed for them to vote on it, you cannot implement it. Getting to the election, the EC have to bring their budget to Parliament to approve it. And if the EC doesn't listen to some of the recommendations that's coming from Parliament, they may decide to slash their budget, they may decide not to approve their budget. And if they don't approve their budget, it will be very difficult for them to conduct the elections. Across the country, especially those in the rural areas, it's very difficult for them to be able to access it. So if you are using only the Ghana card, it means we are going to end up disenfranchising a lot of Ghanaians who are qualified to vote. And even some of those who have been able to register, they even have issues with either the misspelling of their names or other details, which will take them several years to be able to do. And one of the most serious crimes we can commit in our electoral history is deliberately disenfranchising people.
Professor Alidu Seidu says there are other means by which Parliament can use if the EC fails to adhere to its proposal.
Constitutionally, the Parliament can also decide to take the EC to court and seek interpretation on the actions of the EC and whether it conforms to the rules of the land. Or even other private citizens or political parties can take the EC to court if they believe that that particular position will not inure to the benefit of the country, if it doesn't fall in line or align completely with our constitutional provisions, especially the right to vote and be voted for, and the possibility that it could disenfranchise people.
He expects Parliament and the EC to build consensus on the matter in order to deepen and consolidate the country's democratic gains.
It will not be healthy for our democracy if the Electoral Commission and the Parliament of Ghana is on a collusion course. Especially the EC in particular needs the legislature more. The EC has to be able to work with political parties and bring the consensus of all political parties on board to be able to build consensus moving forward, especially in some of these new reforms that they want to introduce moving into 2024.
He says the 2024 elections will be crucial and the EC will have to be considerate on its position. Evelyn Tingma, TV3 News, Accra.
All right, so we're taking a step back to our earlier story having to do with the rating agencies Fitch, Moody's and Standard & Poor's, who have over the last few months or quarters downgraded Ghana in terms of our economic performance. Let's speak to Dr. Patrick Esuming, who is a senior lecturer with the University of Ghana Business School. Doc, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good evening and good evening to viewers. Thanks for having me.
Right. To start with, is there any merit in what the president has said regarding the ratings agencies being reckless in downgrading us? Or this is basically a farmer blaming his tools instead of fixing the right things and getting the economy back on track?
Okay, so what I would say is, there's a general view about how the overall global international financial architecture works, which many believe are skewed against developing countries, especially those in Africa, like ours, in the sense that, when you are evaluating the credit readiness or the debt sustainability of different countries, the thresholds are different from different categories of countries. So you notice that some countries that are carrying higher debt to GDP than Ghana and other countries will not be seen as being at higher risk of debt distress. But if you have a poorer country carrying some relatively lower levels of debt, you get the criticism, or you are going to get downgraded. So there's that general sense that perhaps the international financial architecture is biased against poor countries. I think the challenge with the president's position is that when at the time that the same rating agencies have upgraded you, and you've used that as a sign that you are managing your economy well, you can't turn around when the same criteria, the same institutions are downgrading you and start launching those kind of criticisms. So I think that's the problem that the president has, because you cannot accept, when they are using the same criteria, you cannot accept the praise and then refuse the criticism.
And in the same vein, is it possible that, there are those who are already asking that then Africa or countries that seem to be having the unfortunate bias of the rating agencies, they should form their own credit rating agencies? Is that a possibility?
So I think the problem is that, we go to an international market to go and borrow. And once you step into that arena, you have to accept that, this is how, once you get into this space, this is how your creditworthiness will be evaluated. We may decide to form our own. The question is whether the international creditors that we seek to borrow from, whether they will be viewing the evaluations of our own rating agency the same way as they'll be viewing the international ones that are seen as well established. So no one prevents us from establishing, but to the extent that we always go to those markets to go and borrow, we should expect that they'll give more weight to the rating agency, the international ones that are well known, compared to what we may set up.
Right, and finally, beyond that, what else can some of these countries that have been on the unfortunate side of receiving these kinds of ratings do beyond waiting for the approval of these rating agencies?
We have made a decision about the choice of sources of financing, right? If we were mobilizing enough domestic resources and then not using so much, not being so much reliant on international funding, perhaps these issues won't be as prominent as it is. So, if you feel that this is the way we still want to go, that we want to rely on the international financial markets, then that's some of the things that we have to be willing to endure. We should look more inward and try and mobilize more funds. Domestically. We know that when we are over-reliant on these foreign sources of funding, it exposes us to economies to all the risks that happen in the international market and the territory. So if we are gotten to a point where we feel that this is not working for us, we can just now look more inward.
Okay. Doc, thank you so much for your time, as always. Dr. Patrick Asuman joining us there. You're still watching News 360. On to some other stories.
The HAD Group has commenced a year-long of activities to mark its 20 years of grooming exceptional leaders. President of the group, Dr. Yaw Pebby, challenged Ghanaian youth not to leave the country's leadership in the hands of only politicians.
Started in Ghana, the HAD Group is now present in 26 countries. The HAD Group is dedicated to nurturing and establishing emerging leaders. The president of the HAD Group, Dr. Yaw Pebby, proposed that leadership courses be taught in basic schools.
All the smart people, all the competent people have decided, okay, I'm going to take engineering, okay, I'm going to take philosophy, okay, I'm getting into academia, okay, I'm getting into law, medicine, and let's leave the politics. But no, leadership is such an important thing which everything rises and falls on, that we cannot afford to leave leadership only in the hands of politicians. Leadership in this country has, for the last years, been a lot of who has money to pay and who can do choboye, ye. But leadership goes more than that.
President of Ashesi University, Patrick Awuah, says a better approach is required to educate people in Ghana.
How do we educate people to tackle these challenges, to take advantage of the opportunities before us? Let's say climate change. How do you teach somebody in kindergarten to start to care about the environment? Now, obviously, you can't talk to a 3-year-old or 4-year-old about climate change, but you can teach them to care about nature.
The editor-in-chief of the Fourth Estate, Manasseh Azuri Awuni, is proud to have been impacted by the HAD Group.
There is no member of the Public Accounts Committee of Ghana's Parliament whose work has saved Ghana more money than I have done through investigative reporting. So there are a lot of young people doing great things, and my point is that if we can ever progress, we will need the kind of leadership which the HAD Group is championing.
As part of the 20th anniversary celebrations, the group will continue to mentor emerging leaders and also undertake outreach to the 20,000 people.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more for you right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You just sleep. That's Madina.
Sensuntum say when I'm out there, you may
That shall not slap. Having black mosquito quail. Common tontom. Na empom visie bebre. Na emma wo mowa. Na emma wo sham. Na sham.
Having insecticide spray. Eye sham. Na sanso kum mo a wotu ene omo mo wia nyina.
Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent no ekumwa warrior nothing just show tree.
Having black mosquito que empong wisie bebre and say wo hene so e sham kama why no emubu na jumo size no e boduma don't shit to me no.
And a heaven spray, heaven naphthalene balls, ni perfumed insect repellent no ekumwa mutu na wa nam from nothing just show chi.
Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope.
FDA aji edrede krato yatum.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Junior, let's play riddle.
Riddle.
What is milky? And yeah, even more in the pack. And they're your favorites.
Hard biscuits.
See, you gotta have a smile.
Now, more biscuits in every pack. Pack biscuits. Pack up your day more. This advert is FDA approved.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by Damask Rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beats Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beats Washing Powder.
Gassim, with over 50 years of experience, has various grades for various jobs. The Gassim Extra 42.5N is suitable for ultra-high strength structural application like bridges, dams and high-rise buildings. The Gassim Super Strong 42.5R was made for high structural applications like precast concrete and block manufacturing. The Gassim Super Rapid 32.5R is here for normal building foundations like strip foundation and other ordinary concrete works. The Gassim Super Cool 32.5N is best for all block laying, tiling and other mortar works. Never believe that one grade of cement can be used for all jobs. Choose Gassim Cement always. Gassim, 4 cement grades, excellent customer value. Gassim, the nation builder.
Money dear, 1 MP. They want 539 chop money a big jar. You will chop money on a pebiara. I want no 25 bremo. A brow bed dial *446#. Let's sell it to option 2 no. Nature day 539 chop money. Try direct 2 no. Now this is kind of the try no more 40 times. Direct 3 no. Now this kind of the try no more 400 times. Now direct 1 no. But this kind of the try no more 20 times. Wait me swap permit numbers no. Now wait didn't what me have found man so every bako I could see a dear sankron. Any dear I am rekeke. Today 539 direct. Na no ni lottery e ma okonia sanhuro bebre ene kwan papa. Wait me di. You will chop money on a pebiara. Na for good mobile wallet so. Dial *446#. Na twa day 539 chop money. Dewa.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Hello,
all right,
everybody.
So time now for business. Good to see you, Parkis.
Yeah, Martin, it's good to see you. You left me lonely here. I was here for 2 weeks. I was struggling. I was so excited to hear you were coming back.
Okay.
You know? And you're looking all refreshed.
Thank you.
It was good to see you. Did you travel?
No, it's okay. You give us what's happening in business.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Now, African countries will no longer have to rely heavily on the dollar as a universal currency of trade anytime soon. This is because all intra-African payment will soon be domesticated with a Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPS. making the African currency convertible within Africa. Now, speaking at the 30th Annual General Meeting of the bank in Accra, President of the Afrexim Bank, Professor Benedict Oramah, said PAPS is expected to save the African continent some $5 billion in intra-African transfer charges.
African and Caribbean leaders and senior government officials, the gathering will cover the 30th Annual General Meeting of Shareholders, together with plenary sessions in promoting African trade and supporting the socio-economic development of Africa. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, in his opening address, called on the bank to leverage as critical anchor in the African continent's economic recovery process.
Contemplate the effects of the recent public crisis and deliberate on the future of our Exim Bank. It is increasingly clear that now is the moment of fierce urgency to deliver on our bank's vision of building prosperity and improving the fortunes of 1.4 billion lives on our continent. A continent that by 2050 will have a quarter of the world's population, some 800 million youth, and hopefully a 16 trillion economy as AFCFTA foresees it.
President and Chair of the Afrexim Bank, Professor Benedict Oramah, highlighting on the impact of the bank on the continent so far, called on countries to own more institutions to enable the continent develop better.
Today, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System is up and running, which will save the continent $5 billion in intra-African transfer charges. It will also expedite and enable payments for intra-African trade in African currencies. It is now possible for a Gambian to buy Nigerian urea fertilizers using Gambian dalasi to purchase naira. For a young Ghanaian to pay for holidays in Seychelles using Ghanaian cedi. And for a small farmer in rural Zambia to stream her favorite Nollywood movie, paying for it in Zambian kwacha. And the time will come when we will be reducing our national debt because we will be pricing our infrastructure projects in African currencies.
6 MOUs have so far been signed, including a $1 million grant for feasibility studies in the railway sector between the Afrexim Bank and the government of Ghana. The 3-day event under the theme Delivering the Vision, Building Prosperity will position member countries to create resilient national economies. For 3 Business, Nana Ekia Mensah Abrampa, AICC.
Last week, government's demand for treasury bills fell short of the intended target by about 20.43%. The government was hoping to mobilize about 3.7 billion cedis in treasury bills, but raised about 3.08 billion cedis. Speaking to 3 Business, lead researcher at GCB Capital, Courage Boti, said there is no cause for alarm.
It wasn't a subscription relative to the sizable target on offer for the week in question. We don't always get demand of about 3.7 or so billion on the market, really. And so within that context, yeah, it was the excess demand or the large refinancing obligation that led to the over 20 or so % under subscription.
Upon missing the treasury targets, yields for the 91-day bill was up by some 43 basis points. The 182 and 364-day bills also saw some increase in yields by 1.02 and 1.09% respectively. Courage Boti of GCB Capital believes the trend of increasing yields will continue.
The government is targeting about 2 billion in total from concessional financing. If those monies begin to flow in, then they might reduce reliance on the T-bill side of the market, and that is when we can begin to see correction in yields downwards, really. But as it stands now, I think the general sentiment will keep it drifting higher marginally, in every auction, really.
Government plans to raise about 2.2 billion in treasury bills this week, and market watchers are confident the target will be met.
Well, that's it for the very latest in the world of business. For more business news stories, do well to visit our website, www.3news.com.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
It's time to kill it! Mosquitoes, cockroaches, and flying insects. Kill it and conquer! Kill it and conquer!
Kill it! Todiekum.
You have 10 voice messages.
Kofi George, it's your father. I've called several times. My medicine is finished.
Kofi, it's your mother again. Pick my calls, why?
Life is good for you today, but tomorrow may be different.
I was told to contribute to the SNIT scheme, but I refused. Now, I depend on my children for my needs. It may be late for me now, but you can choose a better path.
Do not end up like Kofi George's parents, always depending on your children to care for you. No matter the work you do, register and sign up for SEED from SNIT for old age pension, invalidity pension, and survivor's lump sum benefit for your dependents. Take control of your future. Ayodachio, Fano Personal. Contact SNIT for more inquiries. SNIT. We deliver on our promise. T's and C's apply.
Hey guys. So it's day 3 of eating well with fun.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Cheat day?
Just try Nutri-Snacks. It's like cheat day every day, the tasty way.
Made with wheat, oats, and delicious goodness. Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive Biscuits. Tasty goodness. This advertisement is FDA approved.
There are days when you think, whoa, today I've earned it. So order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. What if we order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, because on Glovo, you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we deliver.
Many people think I get whatever I want because I'm a popular actress. But no, that is not true. Me Kasano, Adebia mi yebiano, me shishimpe papano. And when I find it, I stick to it. My shishimenya Bell Pack tissues. Bell Pack ewe tea roll. Bell Pack tea roll. Soft, but not weak. Strong, but not hard. It is smooth. Me yusua, me hot tummy. It's just perfect. Same as the kitchen towel. What about what? What me the papaye? What me soaki? Echimu esa pepper. One Bell Pack kitchen towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today. Say your pocket tissue, table napkin, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. It's just perfect.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
Time now for the latest in the world of sports news with Oreku Ampofu. What's up with Thomas Partey?
Well, Thomas has been given permission by Arsenal to communicate to Saudi Arabian clubs. He has 2 years left on his contract. So we'll see how that goes. But it's not certain that he will leave Arsenal yet.
Okay. All right. We're hoping. All right. Give us the latest in sports news.
Okay. So we'll be starting off with the camp of the Black Stars, where there's been so much talk about the national team in the past 24 hours, especially after their goalless draw against Madagascar on Sunday. The big question now is what Ghana has to do to secure qualification on match day 6. That's for the Africa Cup of Nations, which takes place next year. Well, we do have answers for you in the following report.
Madagascar will deny Ghana any chance of a three-pointer and a double away from home.
Ghana will have to wait till the final day to know their fate when it comes to the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The Black Stars are top of Group E with 9 points, but will need to beat Central Africa in September to make sure of qualification. A draw will also be enough for the 4-time AFCON winners, but in the event of a defeat, the Black Stars will need Madagascar to prevent Angola from winning.
Floodlights, AU with a dink then. The keeper's off his line, beaten in the air.
It's not the first time the Black Stars have needed the final match day to secure qualification for the AFCON. The last time Ghana failed to reach the continental showpiece was in 2004, after they lost their last qualifier against Rwanda.
So it can actually happen, it's a possibility. But all of us should understand that Black Stars are not good enough. And we need to rebuild, and rebuild properly, not like the old way. We've changed coaches, we've changed players, we've changed FA, we've changed management committees. Have we changed the team culture? If it is still the same, then we are going to fail.
Against Madagascar, Ghana missed the services of Iñaki Williams, Alexander Jiku, Mohamed Salisu, Tariq Lamptey, and Gideon Mensah through injury. Chris Hughton believes these key players should be fit by September and back his team to get the win, knowing what is at stake.
Our strategy for the next match is to win. You know, we are playing at home. We know we have to get a result. And obviously, if it's a game, we know the consequences if we don't win. We had some players missing today, so hopefully those players will be available come September.
Ghana will host Central Africa on September 4 before facing the USA a month later in a friendly game.
Well, let's come one level lower to the Black Meteors, who would face Egyptian giant Zamalek FC in a friendly game at the Zamalek Sports Complex on Tuesday, June 20. The match will take place at 14:30 Greenwich Meridian time. Now, Coach Ibrahim Tanko's side are on a training tour in Cairo, Egypt, as they prepare for the 2023 Total Energies Under 23 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be played in Morocco from June 24 to July 8. The national Under 23 team drew 1-1 with their Egyptian counterparts in a friendly match which was played on Thursday, June 15 at the Alexandria Stadium. After Tuesday's friendly against Zamalek, the team will travel to Morocco and continue preparations for their opening Group A game against Congo on Sunday, June 25. Well, let's come back to Ghana because there was domestic action this weekend, and Dreams FC coach Karim Zito has revealed that he is eager to compete in the CAF Confederations Cup next season after winning the MTN FA Cup trophy on Sunday. Now, he aims to make a statement in one of CAF's biggest club competitions.
Well, I'm a technical man. The administrators just told me, go and win the cup for us. So they have something in mind if we win, because if they do not attach importance to the cup, they wouldn't have urged me to go and win. Now that I've won it, I know we shall go to Africa. You know, the nice thing about it is I've played for Africa to semi-finals, I've played Africa to finals. So I know what it takes as a coach to train and then acquire the necessary techniques to play in Africa. So with this experience behind me, I know when we go, we do our best.
Let's head to England now, where Manchester City chairman Khaldoon El-Mubarak has communicated his frustration on the multiple charges leveled against his club and has added that the citizens have created more commercial value this season. The club completed a treble of Premier League, FA Cup and Champions League trophies in the just ended season.
It's very frustrating. Work that's happening in this club. And it's happening not just on the football pitch. The football pitch, we talked about it. What these players have achieved this year, the treble, is incredible. And you know, I hope people focus and judge them for their football and what they're achieving on the pitch and what they're achieving in every competition they're in. That's the reality. The club as a whole is well run. Is very.
Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on News 360. If you're after some more sports, more stories and updates, you can follow us on social media at 3SportsGH. My name is Oreku Ampofo, and up next on the Bulletin is entertainment.
Again, Emma Bema ya abrantipa. Senya nyama ehuhia ahobambo nti. Ehye no tokoso. Senya odwen nyama hokonkan. Eye ahotoso a owo ewo gide mu. Utumi ti no kredi ho pampan efri echire. Ye da abrantipa Gentleman Cosmetics hunya made. Yewo activated charcoal shower gel, body lotion, eduham perfume. Iwia se hia abrantipa. Bra be mu bako. Ye abrantipa.
Every child is so unique. You like no other. Outstanding in every way. It's me like no other. So anytime you walk and play, you like no other. You are special like Indomie. It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. You like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This effort is FDA approved.
Mothers of Africa.
Mama, will I ever be a soccer champion for Ghana?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha ball. Stay strong and go so far. Never give up till you reach your goal.
Okay, Mama, I'll be strong and go so far, lasting long like this geisha bar.
Be strong and last long
like geisha.
For break times, for movie times, for snack times. Anytime is a good time with Munchie Anytime Crackers.
This outfit is FDA approved.
Wait, your tomato mix. Wouldn't so one on pass. Allow what tomato flavor no. No color changing like traffic lights. Come on.
Tasty Tom dear. It will surely give you value for money. This steak, a little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup.
Taste no so dear. On point. Flavor new.
And it doesn't color your meat or chicken. I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, No susu, no deposit, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Sugar and Kabukimu.
Ma, appelle to data, ebony day, *700#.
B-O-Y, boy. Taxi. Further together.
You can be part of a greater data world of endless possibilities on Vodafone. Mama! With the best value and amazing data offers and services in Ghana, you can now dream bigger, explore wider, go further, get more for less with Vodafone data.
We can do anything we put our mind to.
Vodafone. Further together.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Ninth in this segment, award-winning Ghanaian actress and movie producer Yvonne Nelson has received huge plaudits from stakeholders within the arts and entertainment industry for her versatility and resilience. The actress marks another milestone in her career with the release of a book titled I Am Not Yvonne Nelson last night.
Top industry personalities, including actors and actresses, musicians, media and political personalities were at the Pediasi Valley Resort to support Ghanaian actress Yvonne Nelson as she officially launched her book. I Am Not Yvonne Nelson sheds light on the life journey and personal experiences of the celebrated actress. Yvonne, who described the turnout as an emotional one, urged all readers to grab a copy of her captivating masterpiece to properly understand her life and experiences.
I'm thankful, but I'm emotional that my friends, the industry, the fans came out to support my book launch, and it's a very emotional moment for me. So the message is in the book. If you're eager and you're anxious and you've been hearing people talk about the book, I am not going to tell you what's inside. Just grab a copy. If you don't want a hard copy as well, you can go online and check Amazon Kindle, Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, or Kobo. You can get the book online as well.
Celebrated movie producer Ivan Kwashiga, rapper Medical, and actor Ejinate, among other personalities, commended Yvonne for the good work.
Young people are going to see her in this true form, and that will make a big difference on their lives, that it is not all about the glitz and glamour, but it is more about the human side of the person. And that is what I am very happy and celebrating today.
Yo, shout out to Yvonne Nelson. I want to really commend her for what she did. She's an amazing person, and for her to actually put her whole life in a book, for us to understand the journey and know what she went through, what she's going through, how life is painted in her picture, it's a blessing. I think you get inspired, I'll get inspired. Everybody should go cop that book and get inspired. Forget everybody.
Congratulations to Yvonne Nelson for writing that book. Also, it's not just the Sarkodie component of the book that should be trending. There are other interesting chapters as well about who her father really is. You should grab a copy. Let's find out what's happening on the international front.
A submersible craft used to take people to see the wreck of the Titanic has gone missing in the Atlantic Ocean, with its crew on board, sparking a major search and rescue operation. Tour firm Ocean Gate, which runs $250,000 a seat expeditions to the wreck, said it was exploring all options to get the crew back safely. It said government agencies and deep-sea firms were helping the operation. The missing craft is believed to be Ocean Gate's Titan submersible, a truck-sized sub that holds 5 people and usually dives with a 4-day supply of oxygen. It was not known when contact with the craft was lost. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says Sudan has descended into death and destruction at an unprecedented speed. He has been speaking at the start of an international humanitarian summit in Geneva organized by the UN, Egypt, Germany, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, as well as the African Union and the European Union. The conference comes midway through a 3-day ceasefire between the rival military factions. Several previous truces have broken down.
Thank you for sharing your company with us for the last hour. My name is Martin Esiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabo. For more news updates, do log on to our website, 3news.com. Have a lovely evening.
Bye.